So if you have a 7 or 8 team district, then welcome to district play because that's starting this week in Central Texas and all over the state. Um, so we have several districts like that in Central Texas. I'm going to highlight 3 of them. Um, Out of District 12 6A, which of course is Midway, Harker Heights, Temple, Shoemaker, that district. Um, or District 7 2A D1, which is Axtell, Bosqueville, Italy, etc. Or District 10 2A D2, which we know is Mart and Chilton and Bremond, Goldthwaite. Which of those do you expect to be the most competitive?
Fire away, DJ.
Well, oof. I actually think that Axtell district, might have some sleepers. I mean, Itasca, I think, is better than their record says. They've got some vets. Um, I feel like you can't really. I'm trying to put this in the right words, right? Like I don't think that like you can really tell off of, some of these games that they've played. They won the games they should have won, right? And then
Mhm.
obviously Heiko, Cayuga are a really good team. So, but I think that it's gonna be a lot more competitive than it looks. I mean, Italy has been raising through the competition. I mean, Dawson's a really good team. Valley Mills is a really good team. Bosqueville's been better than they've been in the past few years. Um, and Axtell obviously a really good team, and even without Levi Leathers. So, yeah, I feel like in Midway's district, there's obviously pretty good teams, but there's the outliers. And then in that other 2A district, it's gonna be Mart and Bremond, right? Like it's gonna come down to that game
They
this
start
week,
out with that
which
too.
yeah,
Yeah.
I was talking to Coach Hoffman this morning. He was like, I wish it wasn't so early, right?
Mm,
Like this is a game that should be played later in the season.
true that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Um, I think the 6A district looks competitive. I've been pretty much more focused on these 2A districts. Number one, I'm writing the preview capsule on the Itasca Bosqueville game, and that's a huge game to start out district for both those teams because behind Axtell and Italy, it's really hard to say who 3 and 4 are.
I
This,
agree. I,
um, and then you flip it over to Mart and Bremond opening against each other this week. And I did the season preview for this district, and it's a funny district to break down, especially going into the season when Chilton was, a state semifinalist coming back, because you had Mart, Bremond, Chilton as the three like up in front of everybody else, and then you had Goldthwaite there, kind of being like, all right, is Goldthwaite going to be the Goldthwaite of old? And then
mhm.
after that, you kind of had this uh,
Separation.
separation, a couple of separations because you've got Wortham and Frost um,
Or
that
decent. They're decent
are competitive, yeah, and then you've got Hubbard and Meridian who
or
you
not.
know have not been competitive lately.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure they're trying hard and practicing hard and competing to win, but they just haven't won many games, and they play each other this week. And we all agreed that's a tough game to pick too. But Mart Bremond, probably the winner of that is the district champion after this week, right? And then with Chilton sitting there at 1 and 2, it says 1 and 2. Are they 1 and 2? That's
Yeah,
right.
that's
Yeah,
right. Yeah, because
yeah.
they
With
have to
Chilton sitting
play,
there,
I think,
mhm.
seven district games.
And when DeCorian Evans comes back, could be a big deal in this district race because without him, it doesn't look like they're a guarantee to finish ahead of Frost or Wortham. You
Right.
know, and then they've got a crucial, interesting game this week because they play Goldthwaite, and probably the 4 teams that you would have said are the 4 playoff teams going into the season play each other this week.
Yeah, that's a good point. Uh, so, and I do think the winner of Wortham and Frost puts itself in a good position because
Hmm. Hmm.
um, that's a game that both of those teams would need to win, you know?
Yeah,
Um,
I kind of broke that down in that district, and it just so happens that all those teams play each other.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I do agree with DJ in that the Axtell district, which is 7-2A, looks to me like the most competitive because even with Valley Mills and Dawson sitting there at like 1-3, um, those teams were playoff teams last year. I mean, they've gotten off to slow starts, but uh, I wouldn't be stunned to see either of those teams, rise up and get fourth place or get into that playoff mix. So I don't think there's a lot of separation between 1 through 7 or whatever in that district. Um, I think those teams are pretty close. Maybe obviously Axtell's the favorite going in, but what do we know the Levi Leathers situation, DJ? I mean,
I mean, no, I haven't really talked to Coach Horn since that Friday, and they were pretty sure that it was probably broken.
yikes.
So yeah,
That's
I
so unfortunate.
it
Broken
is
leg, broken arm.
his ankle or his foot.
Ouch.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's tough.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't really have an update on that, but I mean AJ Fetch looked really good. So I don't think Axel's really worried about not having a quarterback because the kid who stepped up, and and to have a night like that, score your first varsity touchdown while your family's going through, a loss. I think his dad lost his best friend that morning.
Hmm.
So, yeah, it was a pretty big game for AJ Fetch, and I think the Longhorns are going to be fine in the long run.
Yeah.